Thanks everyone for coming back to listening to me. And so I'm gonna continue my story, but I'm gonna reintroduce myself and our friend Jack to the people who don't know about him. So when can I get started? Okay, that's my first slide. For um, let me introduce myself. My name is Utkarsh Bhatnagar, and I work at Sony Playstation, senior software engineer. I've been working with them for about 2.5 years now, and I'm an active contributor to Grafana project. I have been doing a lot of contributions to this project in last 1 year, and I have also written a small command line tool for interacting with Grafana. It's called as VZ because it rhymes with easy, so I just call it VZ. That's my GitHub URL and my email. So coming back to our old story, which we left yesterday, for the people who left early yesterday, I'm going to do some rewind. So at PlayStation, whenever we see this kind of a blue screen, that means you're not able to play games. So, and we lose some money. And it's not good for us. So about 2 years back, PlayStation hired a guy called Jack. Let's start it again. And he was given a task of just doing some monitoring on basic stuff. And PlayStation can check out whether he can do something useful or not. So they gave him some requirements like 50,000 unique metrics coming from one source, data points are stored every minute, and then you've got 72 million data points per day, whatever the math is, and then whatever. So he tried something. First of all, he loves Google. So whatever he doesn't know, he just goes to Google, search on it. And because he's so smart, he does that, right? So he found a few time series databases, Graphite, OpenTSDB, InfluxDB, and a really good-looking presentation layer of Grafana. So where he can just plug any of these into that, and then that should be it. So for his POC, remember. So he chose Graphite, which is the most popular one. And for his POC, here's the design and architecture. Super complex. And so his metric data source, his metric data source sends metrics to Graphite and then visualized in Grafana. POC is complete. Mission accomplished what he was hired for initially. And all the requirements are satisfied. Everyone's happy with the dashboards he has given to the company. Now, when he has provided something like this to everyone, some visibility, people have come to him for more dashboards and more metrics to be monitored. Different teams came to him with different requirements, like one of them with some number of unique metrics, data points per day. And then there were different kind of requirements. So what he should do, his POC architecture won't fit the scale of the requirements he has got from the company now. So he has a lot of challenges. Like he has multiple teams to entertain, and then he has got millions of unique metrics coming in the system, above 10 billion data points and whatnot. And also, there was a huge requirement that the UI should be Grafana because people fell in love with it. So they don't want to go back from it now. So what should he do? Should he continue with Graphite? Should he go to another data source? Or should he consider even buying enterprise stuff or anything else? So what he did, he thought about his school days. And one of the algorithms which he learned in his school days was divide and conquer. So what he did was he looked at one team at a time. So let's look what he can do for team one. So what he did, he extended his design and architecture from his POC. And you know what? For his team one, he got similar stack. Just one node of Graphite, sending the metrics to it, and plugged in Grafana with it. That's it. And team one is conquered. It fit the whole story. And this strategy is working. So let's bring other teams on. Let's see what team two got. So he has got this strategy of divide and conquer. He's got another Graphite. He wants to plug it back to Grafana. And see what? Team 2 conquered as well. But doesn't seem like the case because Graphite didn't scale for this use case. So because he is smart and he is a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, So he never gives up. He goes back to his friend Google, and he searches how to scale Graphite because he doesn't want to move away from Graphite because Graphite serves a lot of functionalities which other data sources don't. So he looks and reads some articles of, I read one, Art of Clustering Graphite, and figures out on his own whatever he can do with it and builds some kind of graphite cluster. He takes this cluster, puts it here, and see whether it fits the use case or not. And then looks like, what do you guys think? Will it conquer or not? Any comments? Okay. Okay, it did for a month. But then the happiness ended because I was not able to scale it dynamically after putting metrics into it. So went back to my friend Google and looked for alternatives. So found InfluxDB and OpenTSDB as two of the alternatives. I also looked at KairosDB, but there was not much things happening in the community at that point of time. So I kind of rejected it. So I looked at InfluxDB because it was getting popular. But I was looking on March 11th or 12th. That was the coincidence with this post, which Paul did on March 10th, that they will be moving clustering to enterprise. And that actually removed Jack's hopes, not my hopes, Jack's hopes. Yeah, I will switch the context. So that he cannot use InfluxDB because it cannot scale without going enterprise version. So he gave up on InfluxDB. So what's the option left for him? OpenTSDB. But OpenTSDB doesn't come alone. It brings a whale, it brings an elephant, and then it brings a zookeeper to keep the animals in the, right? So, but anyway, because he's determined and he's ready to take challenges, he takes this stack, replace the graphite, and see whether this requirement fits or not. And see what? Finally, team 2 got conquered and their requirement was met. Let's see, his divide and conquer is still working. And let's see what team 3 has got. So now team 3 has a different kind of requirement. Team 3 is sending logs for the sake of example, say access logs. And then he has to process the access logs which are coming in this rate, whatever millions, right? And then he has to process them in near real time and produce metrics out of them. That's the use case. So he went back again to Google because he doesn't know everything. His friend knows a lot of things. So how to process logs at scale? He again searched, he got Kafka as the answer to collect the logs. What's Kafka, for the people who don't know, is this. That it's an old image of a traffic jam in China. I mean, you push messages from one side, you get it from another side. It's just a message queue which supports both the paradigms of messaging, pub sub model, which is publish, subscribe, and also queuing. I think that's more than enough for Kafka. So, and then he got Spark. Do you know this guy? Dr. Octopus, right? So Spark is a parallel processing engine which can process logs or any kind of events in parallel. So he chose Kafka and Spark to process these logs at scale in near real time and provide metrics out of it. So he took those components, Kafka and Spark, and started processing logs and sending it to OpenTSDB because OpenTSDB was able to scale well. So team 3 requirement conquered. All good, right? But one day, still he's struggling, right? One day, because all of this, all these animals felt weird someday, and things crashed. Because it's an open source project, things have bugs, things have incompatibilities. So what Jack was able to do was reprocess logs and figure out the metrics and refill OpenTSDB metrics, but he was not able to do things which were directly coming into OpenTSDB and Graphite. What he did was he refactored the whole stack and put Kafka and Spark in between. So all the metrics right now are going to Kafka and Spark. If there is not a connector, he just writes one and makes things go to Kafka. and they get processed. Processed means either they can be processed as in like map-reduce jobs for logs, and they can be even simple transformation jobs for different kind of formats in which the metrics are coming in. But what he has done, he has standardized the whole process, that whatever is going to come into my pipeline is going to go through Kafka and Spark. And I mean, if we go into technicalities, he has also written a small Spark streaming library, which takes your Spark code, not takes, but it helps you write Spark code. And if you write a Spark program in about 200 lines or so, it reduces it to about 30, 40 lines, that's it. And so that makes it very easy to write Spark jobs for different kind of metrics or different kind of formats in which things are coming into this pipeline. And then he has got this structure, which is Graphite, OpenTSDB. I mean, he can just plug any time series database in there, and it's just going to fit into Grafana stack, because Grafana supports multiple data sources. Then he has got a load balancer in front of the users, who are the customers. So that actually takes requests from the customers and queries Grafana and then the time series databases. With Grafana 4.0, we've got alerting. And then right now, alerting can be only handled on a single node. Otherwise, we're going to get multiple alerts. So what he has done is he's got a dedicated alerting node where no requests go from the users. Only alerts are being checked from that node. And then that alerting Grafana node actually just queries Graphite and all other data sources you've got. So this is what actually, that was all very vague, metrics and logs and everything. This is to be very specific if we go into technical details, that we are getting metrics from CloudWatch, we are getting metrics from GMX Trans agents, we are getting metrics from CollectD, we get logs from Tomcat, Apache, different other kind of logs, Logstash, and then we get some Graphite metrics from a library which one of the principal engineers at PlayStation has written. His name is Alexander. He's a great guy to work with. And then some of the custom metrics also come into our pipeline. So we get maybe 10, 15 different kind of formats into our, okay, maybe I didn't save, okay. So into this kind of stack, and then we finally streamline it with Kafka and Spark, and get into any of the TSDB people like. It doesn't really matter to us. It should just fit in, that's all we need. Because at the end, we need to just serve the customers. Here are some numbers, what we have got, or what actually Jack has got. We are able to, Jack is able to get 4 million unique metrics supported with this stack. He's able to push in 11 billion data points per day. He's able to process about 40 billion events every day in near real time, within 30 seconds of time, not exactly real time, but you're going to see metrics within 30 seconds. And then this metric is really important about Grafana, because whenever you open a dashboard, only then the requests go to Grafana, right? Otherwise, there are no requests going to Grafana. In Sony, right now, on an average, 3,000 requests go every minute to Grafana instances. And in peak time, when there are outages and stuff, it's about 7,000 to 8,000 per minute, which is actually huge. That means 7,000 or 8,000 Grafana dashboards are open at once, and then we are able to scale that. So these are some numbers which we have accomplished. So lessons learned from Jack's life at Sony. Strategy, that was most important. Divide and conquer. You don't need, he didn't think about solving everything at once. Whatever he was able to do it with individual teams, whatever fit in, he did that. That was his main trick from school. Next, never give up, because he's a big fan of Leonardo. He looked for alternatives, whatever he could find. If he can make open source stuff fit in, then it's better, because company is paying him, right? So why to pay for enterprise if he can make the open source stuff fit in? If he cannot, then obviously there's no choice, company has to pay. But that's the thing, look for alternative. Then choose scalable components, which can really scale. So what this slide is actually, leave Graphite. I don't want to talk about it, but and automation. So when when Jack was building this whole stack, he had this in his mind, automation. Whatever you guys use, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, Salt, try to automate as much as you can so you can move on to other projects so that you don't have to deal with day-to-day operation stuff. In this architecture, which he was finally done with, if he needs more collection of data, he scales Kafka. If he needs more processing power, he scales Spark. I'll leave Graphite. If he needs more OpenTSDB support, he can just scale HBase and the big elephant down there. For reads, he can scale Grafana. Alerting soon, I'm hoping to have multi-instance support. If not, then I'll just contribute and make it happen. So at the end, we want our PlayStation users to be happy and also the company to be happy to earn as much as it can. And that's the goal we have. So what's next for Jack? Right? He has done some good work at PlayStation. Let's say bye-bye to him. His story is over because he need to move on to another projects. Right? He's done with this one. Come back to me, what I have achieved. So I have been involved with Grafana communities for 1 year. This is a slide from yesterday, but people who left early. I have been contributing a lot, and it has been helping Sony a lot in that sense, and me as well. So I didn't know anything about JavaScript, or I never coded in JavaScript or Golang before, in which Grafana has written. So I started with just contributing that small tooltip which you have up there, which says Manage Dashboards. Somehow I managed to learn HTML and JavaScript within like 2 days and contributed that because I thought there was a need of tooltip. What was it about, right? And then recently I just did a contribution for PagerDuty plugin. So that is my story with Grafana. Now we have got Vizy, which is my small command line tool which I've written a few days back before this conference. What it does is it supports a lot of use cases. Like if you have different installations of Grafana, like prod, stage, dev, you can use Vizy with each installation, and you can move dashboard from one installation to another. You can even move and copy rows, panels, whatever you want to do from one dashboard to another from your command line. It's very handy. You can version control your dashboards with Git. Also, you can manage Grafana entities like creating orgs, deleting orgs, and things like that via CLI. So that's what Vizy is about, and it's demo time. So I hope Vizy works. If not, then I have to stop my presentation. OK, let me go back to my computer. OK. And then after the demo, I'll open the floor for questions. Oh, can you get OK? So this is the URL for this is just a website generated by GitHub. So I didn't do much except writing the README. So what it does is it lets you install Vizy by it's written in Node.js, which I learned in like last 5 days somehow. So what you do is you just do npm install -g, which is like it's going to install on your command line Vizy. And then I'm going to show you live. OK, I think I already have got Vizy. OK, Vizy demo. OK, so I say Vizy version. I think that's the first command. Oh, it works. Shows the version. That's good. Good sign. OK, how can I just maybe I can split. And then I'll just go mkdir, anything I want to call like Vizy demo success. Let's give it good names. OK, cd Vizy demo success. I got into it. I do in git init so that a git repo is initialized so that I can commit back to git wherever I host. It doesn't matter. And then we initialize Vizy, which is Vizy init. So it created a configuration directory. It created a configuration file for Vizy. It created a dashboard directory, whatever. The output is right there. It's going to show a red cross whenever nothing works. So that's a good sign to know what if it doesn't work. So it created a conf directory. It created a dashboards directory. Now you need to set so So I have a local Grafana running, localhost. Oh, I mistyped. Oh, yeah, it's running. I've got 3 dashboards there: client side, server side, and app summary. So let's go back to my demo here. I'm going to set my Grafana URL where I want to connect Vizy to. So Vizy set Grafana URL, HTTP localhost 3000, and then it's successfully saved. I'm going to set my username, Grafana username, admin. That's good. It's still working. Okay. Don't see my password. It's a secret. Okay. Let's see status. Okay, so git directory is detected, configuration is being found, Vizy setup is complete. Let's import our first dashboard and see what, before importing, we can even see, but it's okay, we can just import. Vizy import dashboard. So dashboard can be imported by the, I need to expand this. By the, how can I? No. Okay, so this slug which you see at the end, this is the name which Vizy uses to import a dashboard. So I'm going to use the same, which is server side metrics here. Server side metrics. You know what? Let's see what if I spell it wrong, what it shows. Finally. It shows a 404, which is fine. Okay. So let me spell it right. So it pulled out, and it's saved into the dashboards directory. There you go. There's the JSON. Now, the coolest part which I like about it is that if I want to see the JSON of this this dashboard, if you type this command like show dashboard, it's gonna show you a huge JSON, which really I don't really care about much. But if I want to see a summary of this dashboard, like what it contains, so I'm going to just use a Vizy summarize dashboard, and it's just going to show me a very concise output. Like I've got 2 rows, then I've got whatever I've got in the rows, like whatever panels I've got, panel count, and then if I have any template variables, template variable names. So the main things which are actually existing on the dashboard and not the other JSON entities which I want to see. So this is my favorite command, and let's see what I can do with it. Let me import more dashboards. So Vizy summarize, maybe not summarize, import, right? Yeah. Import app summary, and then dashboard. That's missing. Okay, it has got 2 JSONs now. Let's see what app summary has right now. So Vizy summarize, dashboard, apps. It's getting boring. That's not good. Okay. So it has got something, some panels, some rows. Let's say I want to move one panel from server side metrics. Let's say disk usage from the first row, which is the 3rd panel, to maybe this 3rd row here on the 2nd panel. So I'm just going to type, okay, before that actually, from the dashboard you set the Vizy context for the dashboard. Like, so you want to know from where you're doing the operation. So you type this command, Vizy, I think it's set context dashboard, so that Vizy knows which dashboard you're talking about and you're operating on. Server side metrics. So configuration initial, yeah, it has set the configuration. You can even see what the configuration looks like with the command vizyconf. So it shows you Grafana user, don't see my password though, but context and then the dashboard. So you can move things like Vizy move panel from 1st row, 3rd panel, from my context dashboard, which is server side metrics, to app summary, 3rd row, 1st panel. It moved perfectly fine. Let's see what app summary right now looks like. App summary looks like this, I guess. OK. So it has got 2 empty rows down there, and then 1 app summary something graph. Let me see my changes. I can even see locally first with the summarize command. I just need to write summarize dashboard, and it knows I'm talking about. Oh, I didn't I updated server side. OK, I app summary. That is what I modified. OK. OK, so it moved disk usage right here, right? Did something. Yeah, it was empty before, and then now it has got 1 panel which is disk usage. So we're gonna see the result when I export this dashboard back to Grafana. Hopefully this works. OK, it's success. Let's refresh. Come on, show me something. OK, there you go. That's goddamn was complete. OK. Now you can ask me questions. OK. So the reason is that we have some legacy metrics written in Graphite format. We tried converting most of our stuff to OpenTSDB because it scales, but we still have some of them left. That's why we have Graphite still there. I mean, that's the honest answer. Yeah. So so now we are using Grafana alerting. I was waiting for it, and Carl did a lot of work in supporting that, and from Grafana side. Before that, we were just using Amazon CloudWatch. We operate on cloud, so from there, and then we also have a tier 1 team which continuously looks at Nagios and dashboards and stuff. So we have tier 1 support. We don't have small company problems. OK. Yeah. Yeah.
Push both logs and metrics through that same pipeline?
Yes. So logs, I mean, I talked about monitoring. Logs actually go to a Splunk pipeline, yeah, from Kafka. So
from Kafka,
yes, yes, because once things come into Kafka, it's easy to just do pub sub for anything, yeah. OK, just as last, OK, after.
So how many users do you have like sitting on Grafana, right? You said that there's like 7,000 requests during an outage?
Yes.
Per minute?
Yes.
7,000 people sitting on Grafana?
Or actually, they're open on TVs as well, so a lot of traffic comes from there too. I mean, even on weekends or at nights, we get about 2,000. So I mean, some are their contributors too. Yeah. Yes, I mean, I looked at Cyanide plugin or something like that. I tried my hands on it, but you know that. I mean, if something works in 2 days, it works. Otherwise, I mean, we are always short of time. We have so much things to do, right? So I tried Cyanide plugin, and then I also tried, there's a small project written by someone called Jeff Pierce from change.org. He has written a Golang kind of replacement of Carbon Cache or Carbon Relay. It's called Casabon. I even tried that. I also tried using OpenTSDB's put branch, which actually points to Cassandra implementation instead of HBase. But coming back, I mean, I didn't put that all together on because it's not. I mean, that would be too much actually for the presentation. But I've tried a lot of things. But whatever worked in like 1 or 2 days, I just moved on with that because it saves time. And if something works, it just works, right? So, yeah. Anything else? No. So what we use actually Chef. So what I have done is I've written Chef recipes and cookbooks according to our stack, and it just launches and adds nodes like this. So it's really, we run actually on EC2. We don't use EMR because actually what happened this year in January, we were running on EMR before, but we upgraded to an EMR version which was very latest, and it failed after 17 days. We lost some hours of metrics because of that. So that's why we moved out of it and just we are controlling ourselves the Spark side. Yeah. So all good? Okay. Thank you.